Sybil, he was holding court all weekend at the NABJ in Miami. Roland Martin.
I know he was.
And man, thank you for the interview and the honor that I got from NABJ 2019. Thank you, board member. I appreciate it.
Well,
I had a great time.
Glad to hear that. It was great chatting with you and Sybil and Kevin Perry at Perry Broadcasting, talking about, of course, your 25 years of Tom Joyner Morning Show, but also the future of Black radio. And so, fantastic convention. We broke, first of all, a couple of records. Most registrants ever, more than 4,100,
Nice.
largest in history. And we also, of course, we are now standing at 4,421 members, the most we've ever had in history as well. We were founded 44 years ago. So now NABJ still is the largest organization of journalists of color in the world. And it was also great to see brothers and sisters from Colombia. We had brothers and sisters who were in Russia as well as England who were at our convention. And so we definitely are really expanding moving forward. And so it was just an amazing week.
Roland,
so,
I got a question. A question. Of the 4,000 registrants, how many of them were in their 20s?
75% of our membership is Gen X, Millennial, or Gen Z.
That's impressive.
75%. So yeah. So it's so we and that's one of the reasons why we're fighting folks like CNN and others, because we want to ensure that folks have a future when it comes to being able to go as high as they want to in this industry when it comes to jobs. That's one of the reasons why we gave CNN the Thumbs Down Award on Saturday, and we called out all of the more than 1,700 newspapers that refused to fill out the diversity report that's put out by the American Society of Newspaper Editors. So we made it clear to all of them, if you continue to fight diversity and inclusion, we will be coming after you. That's real clear. Speaking of folks who are fighting the good fight and going after those who stand in the way of black folks, Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law. There are a lot of civil rights organizations. There are civil rights groups out there, law groups out there who are doing fantastic work. And I fundamentally believe the Lawyers Committee does not get enough credit. Tom, just recently, they represented a black woman, a.k.a. a student at American University who was the president, and these racists went after her, trolled her, targeted her. Well, guess what? They just got a $750,000 judgment against this neo-Nazi. They have been doing some great work. Joining us right now is the leader, Christian Clark, of the Lawyers Committee. And Christian, this case, we all remember this case because this young lady was a student, and it was just unbelievable what they were doing to Taylor Dumpson. And you all represented her, and now all of a sudden she was the first black woman president in school history at American University, and now you all have set these neo-Nazis in their place.
We have, and the troll campaign, the racist troll campaign that was unleashed on her was led by a group called the Daily Stormer, one of the worst neo-Nazi groups out there. And they started this campaign the day after her inauguration. They hung nooses from campus. They hung banana peels with the words Harambe Bait inscribed on them and the name of her sorority. And most importantly, they instructed their followers to go after her. They doxed her, meaning they published her contact information and social media profile. They would tell people where she would be on campus. And a doctor diagnosed her with post-traumatic stress disorder. She suffered from anxiety, depression. She suffered severe weight loss. Her grades suffered. She was afraid to walk around on campus, all because of the activity of the Daily Stormer and its publisher. And so we sued the Daily Stormer. We brought a federal court case, and we won on Friday. And it's a groundbreaking victory because it's the first time in which a federal court has ruled that online troll activity is the kind of activity that can violate our public accommodations laws. You might remember that our public accommodation laws came about during the heyday of the civil rights movement, or when black people were denied the right to sit at lunch counters and to go to certain hotels. Well, American University, where she attended, is basically a public accommodation. And for the first time, a judge has ruled that online racist trolling violated her right to equally enjoy her campus like everybody else. And so we think we've broken new ground here that opens up a new path for tearing down white supremacists all across our country.
Did you also just recently win a case down in Mississippi for black voters?
We have. So in Mississippi, lawmakers drew a district, Senate District 22, which is in a rural part of the state, in a way that would lock out black voters and make it impossible for them to unseat a longstanding white incumbent. The district had 50.8% black voting age population, but it was very easy to put that district at a level that would have given black voters a fair opportunity to elect. We won at the district court level, but then the state appealed up to the Fifth Circuit, which tends to be a pretty hostile circuit when it comes to civil rights cases. But the facts were so bad in this case, and our case was so righteous that the Fifth Circuit agreed with us and rejected the state's appeal. And so it is a really important victory. It shows, we talk a lot about partisan gerrymandering, but we've got to remember that race remains a real problem in 2019. And so that's why we are filing these kinds of Voting Rights Act cases all across the country. That's why we're going to be fighting for fair maps in 2020. Black voters deserve a fair opportunity to elect candidates of their choice.
And Christian, look, there are a lot of people talk about taking to the streets. We talk about protesting. We know the history of Thurgood Marshall, NAACP Legal Defense Fund. But the reality is, when you talk about who are also warriors in this fight, it's the lawyers who are going to court, who are using the law as a shield to beat down racism. We'll see this fight continue. And so people have to understand why they also must support the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law, because bottom line is you got to win in the courts as well.
That's right. And I like filing lawsuits against people who violate Black people's civil rights. We do it all day, every day, and we're winning a lot of our cases. So I hope people out there will support Black-led civil rights legal organizations that are all about fighting back against racism and the hate crimes that are out there and the rise in white supremacy, fighting for our voting rights. And you can visit our website at www.lawyerscommittee.org and hit that donate button. Stand up for the work of Black-led civil rights organizations.
Kristen Clark, I also think that what you're doing is so admirable, and so much so that tell us what Taylor is doing now.
She is in law school, and she is hopes to fight for social justice alongside us one day.
That is awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Keep fighting the good fight. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, Roland.
Time to go play the Cynthia Tennis Golf Tournament.
Once again, thank you for a great weekend.
Appreciate it.
NABJ.
Thank you.
Thanks, Roland.